All right, so of course we're up to chapter 16, the last chapter of CCNA 2, and so it's troubleshooting static routing. And so this packet tracer I've got here is basically the same one as last week, but there's an error or two introduced, and so we've got to try and figure out why things aren't working. So to start with, we'll see if this host can ping this host. So I'll just open up the desktop. I wish that would go away. Thank you. Now, so we'll ping the other host, see what happens. Now, I've said there are troubles and it certainly shouldn't work. If it does work, ouch. But anyway, doesn't look like it's working though. So that's a bit poor. So of course, because I'm using ping, it's, you know, it's a very binary result, isn't it? So, you know, either it works or it doesn't. So let's do a bit of fault finding. So we'll do a trace route to the same destination, see how far we get. Oh, enter. So my local router's working. That's good. So of course that's router 1 did respond. Router 2 does not seem to be responding. Well, here we go. So it looks like we've got a bit of a routing loop going on here. If we get that host again, and we just did, we've got a routing loop of some sort, so that's not good. All right, let's try it from the other direction, see what goes on. So again, we'll get the desktop going. So of course, that's this host. And again, no response, no big surprise. So failed from the other end to get to it. So from the other end is not necessarily going to be any better. Rarely would it be any better. And so let's try the trace route there. We can see if we've got a routing loop going on this end as well. So of course its own router replied, that's fine. Now I'm assuming we're looking for a response from router 2. And again, router 2 isn't responding. So my first guess would be that router 2 is a bit problematic. And yes, we've got router 3 again. So we've got a routing loop. So just wait for this, see how if it improves or if we get the same IP address again. And we do, we've got a routing loop. All right, so that's not come out good. So let's have a look at the router. So good old show IP. Oh, let's do show IP interface brief to start with. Copy. And so, well, we've got the gigabit Ethernet, which is 3.1. That works. And we've got the serial S010 there. Seems right. Oh, didn't mean to do that actually. Now what we could do is ping the other end of the serial. Ping 172.16.2.1, I'm assuming is the address. So that's the network number there. See if that works. And it works nicely. So router 1 is working. It's got its interfaces up, and it can actually talk to router 2. So of course we could do show IP route, See what information that's got. Oh, and so we've got a static route to 172.16. No, static. Oh, sorry, 172.16.10. So we've got a route to that network. That's nice. Of course, we've got a directly connected serial network, this one, and we've got the directly connected gigabit, that one. And so we've also got a static route to that network, which is the one I tried to ping. So router 1 knows where it should know. Now, before I go any further, it's also got in here show CDP neighbors. So let's try that. Copy. CDP is not enabled. Oops. Now, CDP is Cisco Discovery Protocol. Now, I don't think it gave a great deal of information about it in the chapter. I think we do go into more depth in another subject. I mean CCNA 3. So CDP stands for Cisco Discovery Protocol. So basically what happens with that is that the Cisco devices just sort of send messages to each other just so they can update one another and so it knows who its neighbours are. And so that's all very nice. And it makes fault finding a lot easier. But I'm going to say it's got nice information in it, but sadly there's no encryption, there's no security of any type. And so if someone intercepts that data, well, that's nice information for someone doing reconnaissance as well. So that's why it's turned off. So let's turn it on, and I'm also going to make it so that I can telnet into the router as well. So let's just paste that in. And so the way you turn it on is the CDP run command, and then I'm just setting the password and login for the VTY. Now I'll also need to do that on this router. And I'll need to do it on this router because, yeah, they're off by default. All right. Now, let's try that CDP run command again. CDP. And so we have, it must be off on that switch. Let's try again. There we go. It took a while, but it came. So the CDP is very handy for being able to map your network. And so if we look at that information, or we can actually do Cdp Neighbor Detail, so D will actually do that, you actually get a pile of information about these devices. So as you can see, it actually says that, well, we're sitting at router 1, so we know that exists. And so then, with that information, we know that there's a router called router 2. And so that's the router 2 there, capability of R, so it's a router. And so you can also see its address there. So it's got an IP address. So, and it also tells us on router 1, the interface that connects to that router is there, and the port on that other router is there. And so it tells you the port numbers, it tells you ISR 4300, that's Integrated Services Router. And so via the serial link, we've got R2. And so we've got its address on this port, 172.16.2.1. And so that's S010, both ends of that link. We can also see that we've got a switch there on G000. And so we've got a switch. So that's all good information so far. So I'm actually able to map things out. Now there is more in-depth information about the switch there. Now I haven't set up any addressing on the switch, so it's not going to tell us that. But as you can see, the router's port is gigabit 000. The switch's port is gigabit 01. And so it's 2960. And you can see the version of its operating system. You can see that it's full duplex on this link, and it's using CDP version 2. So that's some good information. Now, just curious, now I know the IP address of that other router. I've already pinged that, haven't I? So I should actually be able to tell that to it. And this is what you can often do. And I've actually done this in the real world where I've been asked to help people with a network, and I didn't know what the setup was. And so if I telnet 172.16.2.1, and so I set the password as Cisco, I'm in. And now I can do shows CDP neighbor on router 2. And so now I know a little bit more of the information. And so I know that there's a router 3 connected by the serial interface. R3, S011, 11, on both ends of that link. R1, well, we already know about R1. And then there's a switch on G000. So there's, again, a switch on G000. So, of course, now, because I'm in R2, I can also do show IP interface brief and figure out what the addressing on this device is. So, as you can see, G000 was 172.16.11. We already know the one on S010, on S011, 192.168.11. And so that's working nicely as well. In the CCNA class? No. And so, yeah, we've got that. The status of those interfaces is up. It's all good. So, of course, we can do, again, get detail information. So the switch, there's not a lot there because I don't have any addressing on it. 172.16.2.2. That's on R1. Oh, I must have bumped the wrong key. So it's R3, sorry, I must have gone through. So on R3, you can see its IP address is 192.168.1.1. So now we might actually be able to connect to it. The switch, as I said, doesn't have much detail. R1 does, but we've already been through R1, so we know that. So now, even though I'm telnetted into R2 from R1, I can actually telnet into R3. So if I go, so I've got several layers of telnet going on. 192.168.1.2, sorry. I got that wrong. Cisco again. So even though the network is broken, because I'm doing these step by step, actually getting me through the network. And so this is all just by building our information with CDP. So now again, I can do show CDP neighbor. And so of course it's enabled with R2 and it's also enabled with a switch. So again, and that's on G000, I'm assuming this is. So we've got a switch. Of course, that's G01. And so again, we've got that information. Of course, we can do detail. Get a little bit more. R2. Oh. So R2's information and the switch, but the switch is not very interesting. So of course we've already got R2's information. So from that information on that screen, I was actually able to build a map. And I suppose if we want to do show IP interface brief, this is of course on R3, and we can figure out that G000 has an IP address of 192.168.2.1. So now I've got the addressing scheme. So that's nice. So I actually do have connectivity. I've gone from R1 all the way through to R3 using just data. But let's try that again from R1 and it probably won't work. Because I've done it step by step by step, so if I exit, it will dump me out of R3 and into R2. Exit. Now I'm back into R1. If I try R3's address, so telnet 192.168.1.2, it probably won't find it. No. But because I did it step by step by step, I was able to. So we'll just Control-Shift-6 that. Yeah, so that didn't work. But I've actually been able to build that map, so editing on my back. Okay, so I've made a map of the network. It's not necessarily helpful, but all right. So here I think earlier I did do a ping that worked. Yeah, so I ping the other end of the serial link, that's fine. Can I ping the Ethernet interface on that? Oh, sorry, it's 1.1. Yes, I can. All right, so the router can ping 172.16.1.1. Can the host? And turn off the trace route. 172.16.1.1. Same address as what I tried on the router. So it worked for that. Doesn't appear to be working for this. So to me, well, can you tell me what the difference is between those two? Yeah, well, that's true, but when it comes to ping, there's actually no great difference. But basically, when I ping this router from this router, the source address is going to be on this link here. And so that's pretty true for the router. The router knows about this link because it's on the same link. And so even though I've been pinging a different network, it's still that. But of course, when I'm pinging from this, it's coming from 172.16.3.0 instead of 2.0. And this router apparently either doesn't know about it or has the wrong information about it. So we'll look at R2. Again, show IP route and see what's going on there. Now it does have a route for that network. It's right here. So it does know about the network. Suppose the next question is, does it know the correct information, or is it wrong information? And so it's saying to get to this network, you need to go out of serial 011. Well, this is serial 010. So it's actually going out there. And so, yeah, that's not at all happy. So it's got the wrong forwarding information. So that entry there is wrong. All right, let's have a look at this entry as well, which is another static route. And so 192.168.2.0 is this network, but it says it needs to go at serial 010. Well, so for packets destined for this network, it's forwarding them out that network. So that's why we had a routing loop. When we did a trace route, of course, it was getting to router 2, and then router 2 was sending them back when it should have been sending them forward. And so it's got the wrong information in it. So this is not a surprise to me. I've just been hiding this from you. So I do have the solution. So basically, if we look at the top two commands there, you can see I've got no, and so that's actually the configuration that's in router 2. So I might just get that away, just show run. So it's these commands here that are at fault. So as you can see, for that network, it's sending her out the wrong interface and vice versa. So I needed to delete those. And so what I've done, I've just copied them out of this config, put them in here, and then put no in front of them. So because they're bad information, that information needs to be erased from the router. So that's what the no will do, of course. And then I've got the same route commands, but with the correct information in them. And so hopefully that will fix the problem. So let's do a copy and paste and see how we go. Now, the no commands seem to have worked nicely. I'm not exactly sure if you get any negative feedback with the no command, but anyway. And then we've got the new IP route command. Because it's an exiting interface, of course you get the warning, but because it's a serial interface, it's not a problem. And so again, that's the other IP route information. And so hopefully that's all gone in well. So let's do a show run again. And so for network 172.16.3, it goes at 010, which is correct. For network 192.168.2.0, it goes out serial 011. And I'm assuming that's correct as well. So that should have actually fixed the problem. Suppose we can always look at the show IP route. And yeah. And so that the static route there is pointing out the correct interface, and so is this one. So let's go back to this host and see if we can ping. All right. Right, we can ping that network and it finds its way back. That's cool. Let's ping the host on the other. So I'm just pinging, I just pinged that host over there. That seemed to work nicely. Let's do the trace route. That went to 30 hops and no joy. Well, that was much quicker and much happier. And so as you can see, the first hop is R1, the next hop is R2, the next hop is R3, and the next hop is the host hanging off of R3. So that looks like a happy result. Suppose we could confirm in the other direction that that works. let's do the trace route just because we can, and that looks nice as well. Suppose we could try pinging that 1.10 host. Oh, sorry, not pinging, trace routing. And so that worked nicely as well. I'm assuming there was an ARP request. I think it's the first time I've spoken to that PC. And so that's all working nicely as well. So of course that was just through the 2 routers and then to the host. Yeah, so that is pretty much it. Now, this is, as I said, the last chapter of CCNA 2. And so after that, next week, we're actually starting on CCNA 3. And the first 2 chapters of that are OSPF. And so so of course the first chapter is the conceptual information, and then the second chapter is the implementing it on the routers. And so we'll do that. And then after we've done that, I will actually demonstrate the practical test that's coming up in a few weeks, because yeah, I think I've already told you that I was planning on incorporating OSPF into that practical test. Week 8, right? Something like week 8, yeah, somewhere thereabouts. The last week before the mid-semester break. That's 8. So that's the plan going forward. So yeah, next week we'll be doing OSPF, and yeah, moving on from there. So any questions at all?